All right, how's it going, guys? It's Gian, Gray Sector Training Consulting. We're doing another kit breakdown. This time we are talking battle belts. This battle belt is the Core Essentials ratchet system belt. The reason I got this is because I was working in law enforcement and it bled over really well in the contracting, being mobile, getting in and out of vehicles all the time. So the adjustment ability of this belt, I see some other companies are starting to get into it, but Core Essentials really started it. I use a ratchet system belt with my everyday carry belt for my concealed, and it just made sense to bleed through with my outer belt. So how this works, you fit it in, you cut it to your waist size, and it gives you a certain amount of slack. When you need to loosen it, there's a button here at the bottom. You can undo it, and to tighten it, you just push it. You hear those clicks? That lets you know where you're at, and the slack tucks in neatly into a strap that's right here. Put that strap in there and you can tuck in and strap down the slack if slack is a big thing for you. For me, it is, so I like to keep that strap ready to go so I can tuck in the slack. But going left to right, I run the S-Tac pistol pouches at a 45-degree angle. The reason I do that is the same reason why I got this belt. I'm getting in and out of vehicles often, and nothing is more annoying than when you have a straight up mag pouch for your pistol and you sit down and that mag now is crushing your ribs. It is uncomfortable. It is an unsettling feeling. Uh, Another reason why I got it, it is a very smooth motion when you're doing your combat reload. So if I have my belt on and I'm doing a stand up normal magazine, I have to kind of break the wrist to kind of come in and do this turning motion. With these 45-degree angle, I'm literally just swiping and grabbing, and that motion stays constant. I don't have to break the wrist. I'm really just coming in and going through. That's something that takes a little bit of getting used to and some training, but once you get the economy of motion of when you're doing it, it feels so much better. I don't think you'll go back to the straight up and down mag pouches. I have a lanyard. On my lanyard, I have a pair of gloves. You never know when you're going to need to go hands on or you got to touch something you don't want to touch with your bare hands, especially with all like the fentanyl and dealing with homeless and all kinds of shit. You just don't want your bare hands touching that kind of stuff. And then I got my window glass breaker / seatbelt cutter. Very simple. You just pull on it. It comes out of there. I got the seatbelt cutter here and the window punch here. You never know when you need to break into a car. Or if you're in a really bad situation, get out of a car that you're stuck in. Next, same S-Tac 5.56 rifle mag. Just standard when you're running a carbine. I always recommend running one on the belt, and that is the primary one to do a reload. If you're running a rifle for any kind of situation, you run into a situation where you need to reload, it is, I would bet my bottom dollar it's faster to go from the belt than it is to go from the carrier. It's just the economy of motion. Um, there's plenty of people that are probably going to prove me wrong, but hey, it is what it is. For me, it's a lot easier for the belt. Um, Under the belt or under my rifle mag, I run the Fiberline mini dump pouch. Some people don't really like dump pouches. They think it's a waste of space in the belt. If you don't use it for a specific purpose, there's no point in having it, this, that, and the third. I am half and half. I didn't want to get a dump pouch that was going to take up space on my belt to make my waistline heavier or to make it like I'm getting out in and out of vehicles to have me bunched up on one side of the seat. It's just not comfortable. They came up with something genius that it lines up underneath the mag so it doesn't take any space on the belt here. It comes in perfectly underneath and it lines with the molly on the back of the rifle mag. The most difficult thing about that is lining the rifle mag and the pouch together through the molly and the belt. After that, it is solid. This thing is tried and true because you never know when you're out and you're going to have to grab something. If you're overseas and you're running ops, you got sensitive items that you got to pick up, or you just are in the situation where you can't leave things behind. You got to put them in your dump pouch, or you're bringing snacks or water. And same thing with SWAT. You got evidence, things like that. Like you're going to need the space. You can't just stuff stuff in your pockets. You know what I mean? So dump pouches are great. I don't like when they take up space on the belt, so I did a little bit of research and found this. They are great. I recommend giving them a check out. For lower back IFAK, I run the Blue Force gear. Inside, I chose this one because of its ability to be drawn on either side here. I like the fact that I can just pull it out. In there, I just run the basics. I got my trauma shears, I got gauze, I got chest seals, and a little bit of the quick clot. Nothing too crazy because I run a IFAK on my carrier, as we saw in the last video. So it doesn't hurt. 2 is 1, 1 is none, but I don't overload that IFAK. For my holster, I run the Safariland QLS. Nothing special about the holster. I like to run a holster with some kind of retention. I'm not a real level 1 just pressure retention for my pistol, because I know you get in a tussle, you get into some hand-to-hand, that thing's flying out, and now the situation becomes way worse than it needed to be. So I always recommend some kind of level 2, or I'm not really a fan of level 3, but level 2 retention at minimum. There is a problem with these for me that I ran into. There is a gap. So the belt is 1.5 inches, but this is a 2-inch mid-ride holster. So if you don't seal that 1/2 inch, you're going to get a lot of wiggle. And that wiggle is a waste of economy of motion. It can mess up your draw. I hate it. Safariland actually sells like these buttons that go in there. I'm going to link it in the description, that they pretty much fill in that gap, as you can see, so that there's no wiggle in the holster. In the front, I run a tourniquet holster. It's also going to be linked in the description here. I run obviously 1 tourniquet because you got 4 limbs. You need at least 2 tourniquets. That's just my train of thought on things. I also like this because it it covers the type of retention you have on your holster. As you can see, for this one, it's just the thumb release here. But if I'm talking to somebody, they can't see what I got going on. And if they do try to go for my gun, they have to defeat this to even attempt to get to this. So that gives me an extra 1/2 second, and seconds matter in a fight. From the leg strap, I wanted to highlight the leg strap just because I think this shit is awesome. This is the Alien Gear tack strap. Before I get into it, it is not TCCC approved to replace a tourniquet. Just say that. However, /, in my opinion, as someone who's put on multiple tourniquets in real life, this thing gets as tight as a TCCC approved tourniquet. The reason I like this is because this ratcheting system allows you to put it tight around your own leg in case you sustain some kind of injury. If I get shot or I get stabbed in my leg, I can, with a single hand, tighten this down. Let me show you how it works. If I were to get hit for whatever reason, I sustain a gunshot wound to the leg, or I'm going hands-on with a suspect or an enemy combatant, and they stab me, and I am bleeding, and in this configuration, it is really hard to put a tourniquet on. If I'm gonna put a traditional tourniquet, I have to undo the strap, and I'm probably gonna undo the belt so I can get all the way in there. With this, all I have to do is stick my hand down here and just ratchet it. With a single hand, I can still fight, I can still draw, I can still get into combat. Right now, this thing is tight. It is 100% restricting blood flow. Now, another caveat, this is not something to replace a tourniquet. This is an emergency situation. I can sustain some kind of injury until I can get a medical grade IFAK or seek higher level of care for whatever injury I got going on. All right, guys, so that is my kit breakdown for one of my battle belts. This is like my go-to patrol kind of style belt, or if I know that I'm doing mobile operations in which I'm getting in and out of vehicles specifically a lot, this is going to be my go-to belt. It's going to give me the most comfort. It's going to give me everything that I need. and it's going to give me the best economy of movement for the things that I need to do and be dynamic out in the field. So if you want to see anything else, guys, please get in the comments. Tell us how we can improve this kind of content so we can bring it out and spread it to the masses.